Hello, everyone. My name is Beata, and I'm an immigration attorney at Minsky, McCormick, and Halligan in Chicago. And I wanted to take this time today to talk to you about ICE's newest rule as it affects F1 students, requiring that they attend in-person courses starting in the fall semester. So I wanted to take this time to talk to you about the top 5 things that you should know about this rule. But first, as a background, in response to the coronavirus in March of 2020, ICE, which administers the F1 program, announced an accommodation allowing F1 students who are in the United States, foreign students who are in the United States studying at our universities, to attend their courses online because it was obviously not safe to do so in person and because the universities were not offering in-person classes. And so that accommodation, again, started in March because typically in the past the rule was that F1 students must attend the majority of their courses in person and can only usually take one class online. And so coronavirus is unfortunately still a problem in the United States. In fact, it is growing exponentially in about half of the United States, in the southern half and in California, and is still a considerable problem in our urban cities. And health experts obviously are recommending social distancing. And so to everyone's surprise, on Monday of this week, ICE announced an end to this accommodation, indicating that beginning in the fall semester of 2020, F1 students would have to start attending at least some of their classes in person, that they could no longer take the majority of their classes or all of their classes online. And this is a problem for two big reasons. One, health. I mean, again, this contradicts all of the health experts who are encouraging social distancing, and also because the majority of the universities have basically announced that they're going to go completely online in the fall semester, and many of them for the full academic year next year. And so the students are in a position where they may not be able to comply with their visa requirements and stay at the same school that they've been admitted into, because the school itself is not offering in-person classes. And so, again, I'm here to talk to you about the 5 most important things to know about this rule and how it affects you as an F1 student. So first of all, the rule does not apply to individuals who are already on their OPT. So F1 students, once they complete their degree program, whether it's an associate's, bachelor's, master's, or PhD, are entitled to usually a year of optional practical training, work authorization, to practice the skills that they've learned in the United States. And some of them are allowed to use OPT for an additional 2 years, so for a total of 3 years if they studied in a STEM field, and if their employer is enrolled in E-Verify. So again, individuals who are done with their coursework and no longer have to take any courses, whether they're online or in person, and are now in the United States pursuant to their optional practical training, are not subject to this rule and are completely unaffected. Now, conversely, individuals who are working pursuant to CPT, curricular practical training, are still technically attending their schools, have not completed their degree programs, and are affected just like everybody else. Second of all, the rule does not apply to individuals who are in the United States pursuing language studies, because they never had the accommodation in the first place. So language studies does have to occur in person to some extent, and so that rule is unchanged. They never had the accommodation allowing complete online coursework, and so they're not affected by this announcement. Third, and perhaps most importantly, the rule may be enjoined or stopped. So enjoined is just a legal term for stopped by the courts. Harvard and MIT, 2 big universities with very large foreign student populations, have filed a lawsuit this week in federal court asking the courts to temporarily stop this rule. And there are other universities who are planning to follow suit. And so that lawsuit, or some of the other lawsuits brought by other universities, may in fact result in either a temporary or permanent injunction or stopping this rule. Now, when that will occur is unclear. It could be, a couple of weeks from now, but certainly before the fall. And so that would completely put this issue aside, at least temporarily, if the courts rule that ICE was not justified in issuing this rule. Now, fourth, if the rule is not enjoined, the universities are going to adapt to this, unfortunately, despite what the health experts are recommending. Foreign students contribute $9 billion to U.S. universities every single year, and their tuition payments subsidize the tuition of U.S. students. Universities are very dependent on this money and cannot survive without it. And so the universities are put into the situation where, despite what the health experts are saying, they're going to have to modify their plans of offering only online courses and, in fact, adapting and offering some in-person courses so that their foreign students can comply with the rule. Again, hopefully that won't be necessary if the courts are able to stop this, at least temporarily. But if they are unable to, the universities are going to have to adapt, and in fact have already announced plans to adapt. For example, universities in California, I've heard, are already planning on offering in-person courses that are socially distant and outside. So again, just expect that the universities are going to have to adapt to this. And then finally, the rule does not necessarily mean you have to depart the United States if your institution is not willing to adapt. There are other universities that will adapt to which you can transfer to. Now, that's obviously not ideal, but again, there is this option of transferring to another institution or another university that is offering some in-person courses, at least for the duration that this rule is in effect, so that you can comply with your visa rules and remain in the United States and continue your education in the United States. So if you have any questions regarding how to maintain your F1 status in response to this rule, or any questions at all regarding immigration or F1 visas, feel free to contact us. The number is 312-427-6163, or you can submit an inquiry online at www.mmhpc.com. Thank you. Take care.